Well, that was an interesting little close-up we got there. Hello there, everybody. Saban92 aka Nightmare, and welcome back to RB Axolotl. So, after learning the truth about not only these five being one person, but also getting to meet RB, aka Rock Bottom, and learning about this supposed war that's being taken place, we, the Axolotls, are now back in our little container to kind of confront these agents of some sort of other god. At least that's what I'm assuming that these little babies are. Great. Although, if all five of them are together, I have a little bit of hope, but that last scene about the thing shattering does not fill me with the utmost happiness, you could say. This is absolutely unreal. The tank looks almost nothing like how I remember it. You guys constructed all of this? On your own? Oh, my boy. You should have seen what the tank was like in its prime. Yeah, for example, over there. We used to have a coliseum built there, with a roller coaster sweeping right through its center. I've got a written history of the tank in my lab, if you're interested.
Well, it's good to hear that you guys weren't completely slouching as we were busy in the Kingdom of Glass.
You know, it technically hasn't even been that long since we left, but I was worried that I'd never be able to do a somersault ever again. Press S. You know the drill. Press S when I'm ready. Yes! Yeah! Oh, that was fun. But, wait. Didn't RB say that we'd become a lot more powerful? What's the deal? I feel exactly the same. Do you guys think he was pulling our leg? At least now the water doesn't hurt to breathe. Compared to before, that's a major improvement.
So where are these little tykes you talked about? I can't wait to beat up some babies.
I think I see them. Over there! Standing in front of them was the trio that had been a part of Axie, Lana, and Neo's lives for so long. But they didn't look like the deadly, soul-sucking creatures RB described them as. They looked like their normal selves. They're the ones who tried stopping us from getting to RB. We know who you three really are now. You want to destroy this place, don't you? This is our home, but it's also yours. Maybe we didn't interact very often, but we lived in the same tank for decades together. You might have rejected affection from us, but Lana, Axie, and I, we loved you. We treated you as best as we could. We treated you like family! It's not too late to stop this. We can become a family again. Let me speak for a second, Egghead. I don't know what those words RB talked about meant. Territory lords, transitional, Ryukosho, and all that. But I do know you guys. Or, at least I thought I did. Listen, we're all changing. The five of us are growing, reflecting on our past, and moving on. Just because you were sent here on a mission to kill us doesn't mean you have to go through with it. I'll make sure that you're all okay. I'll personally risk my life over it, and if you'll just talk with us. As they listened to the Axolotl's pleas, the triplets did nothing but stare. So you don't want to talk, then? Oh. Great. Open. Sealed shortly. Eat it right on time. It will. You will seal. What are they talking about? It is done. Look. Behind. The void was behind them, and it was swaying in a chaotic fashion. It looked at once, ready to implode upon itself. Yes. It
will happen. Our insurance, no matter what, our mission was successful. Trapped in this reality, no way to return to your master.
Is the void really closing? Like, for real? This isn't good. RB told us to go through the void when this is all over. Yeah, if it closes permanently, then what are we supposed to do?
That's bad. But there was no time to ponder what-ifs, because it was already reality. With a deafening shockwave and an expulsion of light, it happened in an instant. The void, which had been a constant for as long as they could remember, was now gone. Without it, there was no way to get back to Transitional, no way to make it back to RB or to Enginos.
What the hell do we do now?
They somehow have a way to destroy the void, then there must be a way to bring it back again. How else are they supposed to leave?
Impossible. We'll die. With you here. This insurance, now clean. Initiate Protocol B.
The three of them glowed and spread apart. Oh. That's a problem. That is oh, that's not good. Oh, that's bad. Those are nope. Then they morphed into terrifying creatures. They didn't resemble axolotls anymore. They were something else entirely. Dark fish with glowing eyes, sharp teeth, and an angry scowl. The three triplets had morphed into numerous monstrosities, more creatures than they could count off the top of their heads.
Is this what they were all along? No. I think from what RB hinted, they must be something even more gruesome than this. This form must be to intimidate us. Well, they're doing a good job.
Those teeth look like they're here for breakfast.
Brace yourselves, everyone.
No! They should be the ones embracing themselves! Because I'm ready to rip and tear.
He could see them starting to charge. Dozens of tiny pointed teeth with only one mission. But Ankh didn't look bothered.
Oh, Bracket Boy, I can feel it. I can feel it coursing through my veins. Your blessing.
Is he gonna turn into that giant monstrosity form that he had before?
Son of a bitch! This power! Is that all you got for me? Sharp teeth? I was really expecting more vengeance from something called Everything. You're even more pathetic than I thought. I don't feel a thing.
Ankh, you might be big, but you're not big enough. Some of them are getting through you. Everyone behind me. I think I feel something too.
Oh, is she gonna turn big?
Oh shit! She got teeth. She got teeth. My body, my tail.
As the swarm charged forward, Lana hit three of them with her tail and sent them flying in different directions.
Hey, what about us? I want special powers too. That's not fair.
As he said that, one bit him on his leg.
Get off! Get off of me! Get off my Liam! Get off my Ankh! Get off my Lana! Get off my egghead! My family! Get the hell off of my family!
Alright, what's his transformation going to be?
Sweet. Well, look at that. Not too shabby. Oh, me too. I want to transform, for God's sakes. How else are we going to get home if we don't fight for it?
I'm actually enjoying...
He's got big arms. He's got big arms.
This is so delightful, I love it.
What about you, Liam? How are you doing? Sorry. Unlike you guys, I'm really not feeling very good right now. What's wrong?
He was resting on the floor, curled up in a ball. It reminded her of that time all those years ago.
Cheer up. We've been in worse situations than this.
Hank was shoved backwards into the chaos.
The eye is right in front of me.
The four, though they had enemies all around them, instantly realized their folly. Everything would be pointless if they couldn't protect Liam, and right now he was defenseless.
Get to him immediately!
Neo was overwhelmed. There were enough figures bumping into him from every direction that he couldn't move.
I can't get over to him. Me neither. I can barely speak in this crowd. Get off, you nasties! They've got me surrounded too. That must be their plan. To isolate us.
Hank, due to his strength and speed, was the only one able to shove his way through the crowd. What he saw made his heart ring in alarm. The large group of Ryukosho had swarmed onto Liam, and they were now carrying him away. Without an RB-blessed body to defend himself, all he could do was tighten his muscles and hope for the best.
Weak. Weak. Our shining star. Our prize. You came back to us. We came here because of you.
Get off him!
It seemed for every enemy that she swatted away, 3 more appeared. They were starting to hurt too. That wouldn't stop Hank, though. He was the only one able to chase after Liam as they dragged him towards the east side of the tank.
What is this?
The swarm was now obscuring his vision by flying in front of his eyes. A bunch of annoying flies in front of his face. He wanted to open his mouth, but he was afraid he might swallow some of them. Instead, he did the only thing he could do. Held his breath and plowed through, forward, mowing down as many as he could. He wouldn't let his partner die. Not after Liam had saved him. Liam was struck in a haze. Over the years, he thought he had learned to control his panic, but those terrible feelings were now back in full force. He was shivering, shaking, his brain was pounding, and he felt fragile and sick. His other halves had all transformed into more powerful bodies. Why couldn't he? And where were these creatures taking him? Why hadn't they just attacked him straight on like they did for everyone else? He felt his limbs being pulled from different directions. He hunkered down, blocked out the noise, and to his best ability focused on his breathing. His breathing had gotten him through trials before. He had to believe that everyone would save him. He'd been in worse pain than this. Much worse. This was nothing. All of a sudden, the chaos around him had stopped. He still had his eyes closed. When he tried to open them, the world around him was dark and blurry. Still, he could see a sea of scornful eyes staring at him lustily from above. Before he could say anything, those eyes spoke to him in a million tiny voices that violated his ears.
We are so lucky you came. Waiting to feast.
He recognized the place he was now in. He was in front of his old rock. He'd know it anywhere. They put him down next to a statue. Was that a statue of himself? And yet, there were holes in it. bite marks.
The real thing, much better.
Why? Why did you take me here if you're just going to kill me?
Our feeding spot. The spot that brought us to this reality. Like a fire blazing in the night, this spot was so clear. What a treat that you came back.
They weren't just going to put an end to his suffering. They were going to do much worse. They wanted to feast upon him. And then they'd go after the others. No, now is not the time to panic. Now was the time to assess the situation, look around his surroundings. Every moment was important. The memorial. They really made this for me, huh? They thought I died, and so they made this to remember me by. In a way, it's like I never left. He'd not come across any piece of information that would help him escape the situation. And they'd waited long enough. They descended upon him, teeth baring. Chomp, chomp. Tiny bites from every direction instantly overpowered whatever pain he had been dealing with. He tried moving just an inch, but that made it worse. He bit his own tongue until he felt blood come out. He felt his consciousness starting to fade. But if he died here, it would be all over. He would rest for just a second. But they wouldn't let him rest. They jolted his body back and forth. He could do nothing but hold on and scream. He looked down to find a stub where his foot had been. Eaten up. Needed that dumb thing anyway. I already lost an arm before in this tank. What good is a foot going to do for me at this stage? Could feel his heart beating out of his chest. Thump, thump. Soon it would stop. The heartbeat echoing in his ears would cease, but he still believed. Thump, thump. The heartbeat was strong, though. It was his essence crying out. Crying out for what?
Get the fuck off of him, you little shits!
There was a lapse in his memory. 1 second, all the little Ryokosho had been gnawing on his body, and the next he was with Ankh.
I got him off of you for now, but you're in bad shape.
Ankh, due to his size, held Liam close with one arm.
Hey, you pieces of shit!
He slapped two to the side.
What did I tell you before? The one who gets to decide if Liam dies is me. And I've decided that we're going to live, so you better lay off.
The swarm had done enough damage. Liam was feeble to start, and with the damage they had just dealt him, he felt himself fading in and out of consciousness. That little taste of him had been delicious to the Ryokosho. It was all they'd imagined and more. Liam's essence was worth the wait. Right now, it was their entire world, their mission. They were going to savor this rare meal. But for the moment, they turned their gaze to Ankh.
That's more like it.
He took his free arm and swatted several away.
Give me more heads to bash. More, more, more!
He did his best to punch and squish as many as he could, but there were just too many. They were beginning to descend upon him in angles he couldn't see coming. They sunk their teeth into his back, his head, his arms, his legs. Again, he couldn't even open his mouth without swallowing several, and he couldn't move without injuring Liam.
This is exactly what I wanted you to do! Get nice and close. Give me a big hug.
These brainless insects didn't even know what this body was capable of. So he decided to flex his muscles. Just as this technique had once cracked an axe into two, the swarm was forced backwards. They went flying in all different directions while Ankh breathed a sigh of relief.
Glad that still works.
Yeah. Some were pummeled into the tank's floor and evaporated into dust. Some of them were caught onto the sticky, spiky sections of the rock and impaled. Many of the creatures struggled to get up. Others, still, especially those that got fired into the open air of the tank, had a much easier job reorientating themselves for another attack.
Who made you guys so fragile? I guess that's the trade-off you make when you split 3 creatures into 1,000,000. There's still too goddamn many of you.
He took his hand and smashed 2 together like pancakes. Another was creeping on his spine, and so he took it by the scruff of its neck and slammed it into the ground. Each one evaporated into dust after dying. And yet there always seemed to be more spawning from somewhere just out of sight. Well, there's gotta be a source.
Where's my combo meter? Well, the more of you there are, the more enjoyable it is for me.
A single movement from Ankh could crush or fatally wound 5 or more. Even those that withstood one assault on him didn't survive, too. Ankh smacked and cracked and thwacked until he was breathing heavily, and the numbers around him began to show signs of thinning, finally.
Liam, are you doing okay? It won't be much longer now. I've drilled a big hole in their army.
Ankh. Each breath Liam took was painful, and getting even a single word out was a luxury he could barely afford. Still, he pushed himself harder. There was something he had to do. Put me down.
Put you down? No can do. We'll ride this wave together.
No, really, put me down. The edge of the rock. Something calling me. Something pumping, pulsing. It's safe. Ankh looked up and began to realize the reason he hadn't been fighting for the last few minutes. The swarm had regrouped into 2 larger units, and by the looks of it, they were planning on swooping down on them any second.
The edge of the rock is safe. You mean where you used to curl up?
Liam nodded, which sent a painful attack to his skull.
I'll trust you. Just like you trusted me back in the kingdom.
Ankh made sure that none of the dark creatures were there. He put Liam down gently. Then he looked up. Not a moment too soon. The swarm was beginning to launch their attack. Liam had no idea just how many Ryukosho Ankh was attempting to block. He could barely think, but he did realize something during the skirmish earlier. The heart beating that he'd heard while the Ryukosho feasted on him was not from his current state. It was from something else. And it called to him. Liam crawled just a little bit towards it, more and more. It was in the ground. He couldn't speak well right now, but he could use the last of his energy to dig. What was he looking for? I know that there was a part of Liam that was left behind. I think we had to bury that, if memory serves. Is that the part that he's reaching for? That's when he noticed something. Above him, a lone enemy, wounded from the assault on Ankh. Presumably this piece of the Ryukosho was acting differently than the others. He saw that finishing off this tiny Axolotl was a much easier task than tackling that other behemoth. Sorry, but this is my place. Even if it's been a long time, I still know this rock better than anyone else. Move out of the way! The way the rock curved had always reminded Liam of teeth. Back in the old days, he saw those teeth as something which could hurt him. If they could hurt him, they could certainly hurt something else. He threw himself, his tiny body weight at the small Ryukosho. It wasn't much energy he exerted, nor was it particularly strong. But it was enough to surprise the weak creature, causing him to float upwards into the spike, which pierced him and turned him to dust. Hey, you got a kill, Liam! With each cough, he felt like his chest might explode. Just a little longer. The pulsing was warm. Ankh was protecting him, so he kept digging on. This is hype as fuck, I'm not gonna lie on that. Also dark. Oh. Neo finally had a chance to catch his breath, but this is no time for resting.
I don't understand. There's seemingly no end to them. They keep coming and coming. There's gotta be some way we can fend them off for good.
Hey, the more of them there are, the more I can practice my deadly somersault attack. This good-for-nothing tail has saved my butt 5 times over in the past half an hour. But truth be told, I don't like fighting. It's hard to believe that our cute triplets are these. It's like some sort of terrible fever dream. Yeah, how could 3 babies turn into all these things?
At that moment, Axie dodged one effortlessly.
As scary as they look, they're not too much of a threat as long as we keep on our toes.
I wouldn't be sure of that, Axie. The way Abi described the Ryukosho, it seems like they work as a hive mind. The triplets always acted very similarly, didn't they? They always moved as a pair, sometimes even mechanically. Like a program meant to eat every day, do the same exercise routines, and slept the same hours. If these guys are a hive mind, working in unison, we don't know how many ways they can multitask. It's entirely possible the force we've been fighting so far is only meant to keep us busy while they center their troops on Ankh and Liam.
Yeah. It's been a while now. We should try again as a team to push through this wave to get to them. They've got to still be okay.
The fact that Liam didn't get a powerful body like us still bothers me. The way Abi described giving us power, he said it all depended on the level of affinity we had with him. In our case, it was how much we suffered as Alan. If that's the case, shouldn't Ankh and Liam be the most powerful of us all?
Ankh certainly is. Even compared to the Ankh we fought so long ago in the tank, I doubt any of us could hold a candle to that amount of power. And it looks like he still has that power.
Which it's good that's on our side now. Right. But by that comparison, Liam should be an absolute beast.
Hey, get your grubby mitts off of me! I'm not your chew toy!
Neo and Lana had taken just a second break to exchange words, and that was all it took for them to gang up on and swarm on Liam. Axie. Fuck.
You okay, Axie? Yeah. But shame on them for lying to me. It was my fault, too, for not believing in my family. I'll make up for it by believing all I can in you guys now. Axie, Neo, look!
A large congregation had gathered above them ready to pounce. As opposed to shrinking in size, the amount they had been fighting looked to have grown in number.
Egghead, come on, it's plan time! Plan!
At this rate, they'll corner us. I've seen how each of you fight. I think we'll be okay on our own. We should combine our efforts, distract them, and try to get to where Liam is. Let's go into the city and split up when the time is right.
I think I know what you're getting at. Follow me.
Axie, you heard the lady.
Axie looked once more at the mob, gulped, and followed. The 3 of them headed further into the decaying metropolis they had once built. The triplets lived in the same tank and had therefore swam in the same city as them. But it would be a lie to say the babies knew the environment half as well as Axie, Neo, and Lana did.
Sure, they might have lived in it, but these axolotls are the ones that built it.
The babies spend most of their time hibernating, 23 hours a day. For the small sliver of the day they weren't hibernating, they ate and swam at full speed. Even though they spent decades in the tank, just as the others had, they never took the time to stop and smell the roses. Intricate, small rooms and passages in the tank remained unexplored to them. More importantly, they had never been involved in the construction of the tank. That's what I was saying. But they didn't know the special places the adults constructed for their role-playing campaigns. Lana led the charge, crossing over many arches and doubling back twice. Behind her were Axie and Neo. Not far behind them, the swarm was on their tail.
Lana, where are you going exactly? The wall!
Neo grinned. In front of them was what looked like another plant-made wall. Most of the plant walls they constructed had several layers of materials placed upon them until they were sturdy. But this particular wall was thin and only had a single meticulously stacked layer of plants. It was a wall that had once been used to stage a fake explosion. In other words, it was a fake wall that functioned more like a curtain. The swarm chasing them didn't know that, though. They expected Lana to make a sharp turn upwards. But when she, Axie, and Neo both fled through the wall as though it was nothing, it left them momentarily confused. That second of a blind spot was exactly what the three needed to effectively split up.
You know, back during the good old days, I was the only one of us able to keep up with them. So, I want you guys to leave the chase to me. I'll confuse them till their eyes bleed.
You are the fastest. They nodded and went their separate ways. So, especially in this boosted form, you should be considerably faster. Neo and Lana took the chance to double back, and, when the coast was clear, head towards the void. I need to check out the place where the void was. There's no way that it's really gone. But it was. At the start of the fight, the Ryukosho scouts had effectively erased the void. Aside from a crater, there was barely a trace of what had once been.
If the only way out of the tank is gone, then what are we supposed to do?
I was hoping there would still be a small part of the void left. Maybe then we could have led them into transitional so RB could deal with them.
There's gotta be a way out.
Maybe there is. But we'll need everyone. Then a booming voice came from behind them.
It's closed forever. Now is forever. Until the day when they reclaim us. But by then, you won't even be a memory.
Neo punched the area in front of him where the voice was coming from, which caused the swarm to scatter and regroup. See, that already makes me think of the possibility that you can just casually, I don't know. As soon as they come back for their little agents, you attack them right then and there.
Haven't you learned your lesson yet? Don't mess with me.
Ank had been holding them off for some time now, but despite his claims of having infinite stamina, he seemed visibly winded.
Come on, this isn't even 40% of my total power.
He didn't know how, but slowly and surely the swarm had been growing more powerful. And it didn't seem like there was an end to their growth. Already, they were leaving scars and marks on what he had thought was an impregnable body. He looked back towards Liam.
How are you holding up?
Ank was still the last defense for Liam, who, though scarcely breathed, was still digging. One glance back was all it took for Ank to realize something was happening. Though wounded, Liam was glowing, blinking, and pulsing a pretty color of light orange.
Feel just a little bit better than before. I have to keep digging. The heartbeat is me, another part of us. Just a little further.
I don't want to tell you to hurry up, whatever you're doing, but hurry the hell up!
I mean, yeah. RB had told Liam a long time ago that he'd had the most potential of the five. But here in the tank, he realized finally that it wasn't going to be through fighting. Something was bubbling right below him. He could feel that same bubbling in his chest. He knew that what he was digging for now. It was his arm.
I knew it!
The same arm that Ank had pulled off of him before exiting the tank all those years ago. He'd nearly forgotten about that arm, and had seemingly grown another when he'd emerged from the void. A That arm, even if he'd grown another, was still a part of him that called out. The others must have buried it here next to that statue. There was only one problem now. He'd hit a piece of stone from his rock, burying the arm underneath it. He needed to yell until his voice broke.
Hank, are you able to help me lift this rock?
I'm a little fucking busy over here if you can't tell.
Let me take a load off your back then.
Axie!
It's about damn time we got some reinforcements. Where are the others?
I was supposed to be the distraction, but they ended up with the most Ryukosho following them. But they'll be here soon, I'm sure of it. I'm afraid I brought a few guests with me, though.
Well, they'll just have to join the party. Can you handle them for a second while I help Liam pick up this rock?
Leave it to me! I'll somersault over their graves.
Oh shit, I like that.
But then Axie noticed just how large the congregation was compared to the number he had been fighting earlier.
Just this rock, right?
Yeah,
Heaved? There, it's out of the way.
the arm is still buried even further.
Somehow, someway, Liam was feeling better just being near it.
I can handle the rest on my own, so go and help!
Axie?
Where was Axie?
They both looked up into the tornado of enemies but found him nowhere. Oh.
There!
A couple feet away on the floor, a large concentration of the swarm lay over the body.
Oh. Oh god.
The number had been too great for him. Hank hurried over to the swarm and swatted them away as quickly as he could. But it was too late for Axie, the Axolotl. The babies had been getting stronger, and the difference between Axie's body and Ank's was too great. They had descended upon him simultaneously and had overwhelmed him immediately. He'd grown too confident dealing with the small fries earlier that he didn't expect their power increase. And now, they were gnawing on his body, just as they had tried to do with Liam. Ank swatted them around with his big body and did everything he could, but it made no matter. In a moment's time, Axie had been pinned down and gnawed on, and now half of his right cheek was missing. He wasn't moving at all. His stomach had also been pierced through. Shit! And still there were still far too many in the swarm for Ank to take care of all on his own. He wanted to yell at the top of his lungs. Axie the Axolotl going down without even a fight. Without even a moment's notice. But if Liam had found a way to feel better, then somehow it must be possible for Axie too. And then a voice began violating his ears.
We started off weak, but we are growing. Just as the greater sum so long ago. We grow even stronger eating your essence.
Get the fuck away from him!
Enjoy your last moments, 'cause you are next.
What the hell happened? Is that? Lana's mouth was agape.
I shouldn't have let him go up against all of them all alone. They tore right through him.
We need to help! Now! Right now!
Lana went down and began swiping her tail, but like Ank, she soon realized just how many of them there were.
Axie! Axie, wake up!
Neo, quick to assess the situation in the chaos, looked around and spotted Liam digging under his old rock.
Liam, what happened?
It's my fault. What happened with Axie is my fault. I made Hank come over here to help me. But it's going to be okay.
Liam took in a deep breath and at that moment looked just as zen as a monk. He whispered something so low that only Neo could possibly hear him.
I need you guys to run away. I'm going to explode soon.
Explode? Just, what do you mean?
It's like I said. I'm going to go kaboom soon, as soon as I get my old arm back. The explosion should be strong enough to get rid of all of them. But the downside is, even if you have those super tough RB bodies, explosion might be too much for you to handle.
You can't explode! That's not going to help us turn back into Alan! All 5 of us need to be alive.
I won't let this explosion kill me or Ankh. Just call it a feeling, but I don't think RB would turn me into a one-use nuke. And in the Kingdom of Glass, I had a similar ability.
Neo knew he had to place his trust in Liam. Liam had the most suffering. So, if this power is tied to suffering and despair, then realistically, Liam literally has the most power out of the 5. He was the part of him that could handle these grim situations the best.
The only one who's gonna stay with me is Ankh. Him and I. We've been through a lot together. He's the most durable of us as well. Now go! Get Lana, grab Axie, and leave the rest up to us.
Don't die!
Same to you, bud.
Yeesh. When Neo turned his attention back to Axie, Lana, and Ankh, he began to see how dire the situation looked. The swarm was in giant clumps everywhere. Ankh was doing his best to keep them occupied, but there were just too many. Lana was desperately trying to keep them off Axie, who was still unconscious on the floor. Neo was petrified that he wasn't breathing. We need to take Axie somewhere safer!
His legs are coming off, Neo.
He secured him on her back.
What? You party poopers gonna leave already? Things have just gotten rowdy enough to have a good time.
We need to save Axie. But please, protect Liam while we're gone.
At that moment, Ankh decided to make a big show and fly widely around. He was using all of his energy to distract the big swarm as much as he could so those 3 could slip out unharmed. He swam so hard that he created a whirlpool so that none of the Ryukosha could follow them.
Damn!
Making good use of your giant body, dude.
What do you mean he's going to explode? We have to stop him.
We can't! We've just got to trust in him. In both of them! She was about to protest again, but then she realized something. Lana muttered under her breath.
I see. That's what you were trying to do. Maybe you realized it too, Liam. You didn't even have to spend half a century with him.
Jesus. Oh god, this is messing with my eyes. God damn it. Damn you fuckers multiply like rabbits.
Ankh was deeply hurt all over. The cracks the swarm had made ran widely through his body.
Here it is! My old arm. I'm ready now. Please work, please, please, please work.
His glow got more intense by the second.
You lose, motherfuckers!
I hope. Jesus. Just as the Axolotls did not know what the Ryukosho had in store for them, the Ryukosho, too, had not imagined they would square up directly against RB's blessing. Their goal was to stop this project before that happened. So they weren't expecting a large implosion. There was only one building in the tank that was not made out of plants. The only building which might have a chance to survive the explosion. The lab. The good old lab. Once inside, they wasted no time backing themselves into a corner and wedging themselves in between the old, dusty bookcase.
Now, Neo, stay right here. Don't even think about moving a muscle.
Lana positioned herself in front of Neo, completely shielding his body.
What are you doing? Think of all the things Liam has been holding in all this time, and how RB means to use that. The explosion is going to be a biggin. But you and Axta, you both need to live too. You were the first of us who wanted to go back. You have plans and conviction. You might have more Alan in you than any of us. No, I'm not Alan! I'm not alone, I'm not. Stop, let me go! Let me go! All of us are Alan! We all need to live! Fuck! Please stop shaking. Lana, you know I've always loved you. Oh, I know, Axie. If we could have avoided all this tragedy, that would be wonderful. But we can't change it. We're stuck with what we've gone through. But the future is still unwritten. That's right. However long as it takes, we'll spend our time well in the future. It's our experiences to our advantage. Shit.
Just who am I again? Neo, Alan, Bobby, Axie, Yukosho. Many names swim in my head. Oh, I'm Neo. That's right. Liam exploded. He exploded and... Jesus! Oh, God. Oh, my God.
The pain came in full force now.
Jesus fucking Christ!
So much pain that he wanted to scream at the top of his lungs, but couldn't even manage to do that.
That is fucking horrifying!
Lana, why the hell would you do that? All of you idiots! What the hell? Even the lab, it's all ruins. Everything's gone.
Yeah, that's not depressing and terrifying to look at.
Huh? Wow, that comeback sure was something, Egghead. Thanks, I tried. No, really, I wasn't expecting all those reinforcements right at the end. He did do well, didn't he? Oh, he did! Ah, shucks, I can't take all the credit. It was you suckers who fell into my trap. Hey, Egghead, I was just trying to praise you for winning the game. Really, this is such a fun day, wasn't it? Yeah, and tomorrow will be too. It should be. But let's not forget today. Tank is our paradise. We've all come to realize that. So it's good to remember relaxing days like today. There may be other good days in the future for all of us, but today will always be yours, Neo. Wow, it's not even R&D month right now, is it? Lucky! Alright, a deal's a deal. What do you want to do tonight? I was hoping we could have some story time together. Oh, story time, woo! Were you thinking of original stories, or should we read some of our old stuff? You know, I've been itching to get back into some of the Roberto Nils detective novels you have on the shelf. Actually, I was rummaging around some of the old books last week and came across the Axolotl Guide to Biology. Oh, the regeneration factor of axolotls. Oh yeah, you really used to be into that book, huh? Oh, come on, this boring book again? Actually, I plan to tell an original story to you guys tonight. An action story about a mafioso who gets infected with special superpowers. But I have to tell you, some of the inspiration for this new story comes from this old science book. Huh? What do you mean, Egghead? I don't remember reading about any species of mafia axolotls. That's an interesting idea. Nothing like that. The powers the main character of my story will get. He doesn't get fantastical strength or the ability to breathe fire. He obtains a defensive ability, enhanced healing and regenerative powers. Ah, you mean sort of like that X-Man guy, or Cells, or Majin Boob, or Piccolo? God damn it. God damn it, really? What? Who are those guys? No, the inspiration comes from this book. One of the most amazing things about our biology is the regenerative powers that we have. If that book is correct in what it says, then we are biological anomalies. On Earth, there are so many different species that it makes my head spin. Yet of all of them, axolotls have one special trait. Oh, you're talking about our abilities to heal really quickly. Yeah, now that you mention it, whenever I get a cut or a bruise, it always heals overnight. It goes even deeper than that. Axolotls can regrow their spine or even parts of their own brain. But what I find the most fascinating of all is the sort of strange experiments they talk about in this book. Somehow, an axolotl can take the severed limb of another axolotl, and the immune cells in its body will allow that arm to become their own. Oh.
I think I know what's about to happen. The way that detail right there. If he's the only one that's alive, he'll have to take the parts of everybody else into his own. Theoretically, all 5 of them becoming one. Wait, really? Really? Oh, I thought that book was boring, but what you're saying is we could all become Frankenstein monsters. Well, in theory, yes. And that is if our biological systems work the same as the non-sentient axolotls in this book. Hey, don't you guys want to try it? We could find something sharp, like my old mirror, and snip snip. What if I put your arm on my head? Would it grow then? Would I have an arm head? Maybe? Don't even think about it. Just kidding, just kidding. Or am I? Ooh. You know what's really scary? A past me considered something very similar to what you were suggesting, Axie. I thought that maybe something would happen. That our old friend Darby might tell us something. Hey, don't be a gloomy head. It's story time, remember? Yeah, and this is your day, Neo. That's totally what's about to happen. Your day. Neo had no idea how much time had passed. A second, a minute, it was impossible to tell. As he frantically looked around, he noticed something to his left. His tail. It's on his... Just gotta scooch a little. He managed to move himself to the left, but each movement was hard and cold. places where he should have had limbs seared. Finally, he moved himself into position, and exhausted, drifted. Yep, I think I was right. And hey, my new tail on I can wiggle it. It's the case. And over here, you must have used these to launch 10,000 somersaults. No, even more probably. I hope you won't mind if I borrow these too, bud. I know you wouldn't. Now, the rest. Yep, he has to take parts of their body just to. Them becoming one again, I wasn't expecting you would be someone like that. That's sad. Oh, okay, I actually got to look at that. Looks like finally have full control of everything. How long has it been? Time to get up before I second guess myself. Hey, not too bad. Everything feels pretty natural. Im's rock. I have to check it. As he left the ruined building, Neo was greeted with a strange sense of melancholy. Not a single structure they made had survived the fallout of the... Best, they were ruins, his lab. Worst... The tank looked almost as it once had, long before they had built any structures of their... As he expected, Liam's rock was blown to smithereens. But hidden in the rubble, he noticed something shiny. Right. Hobby didn't make you a one-use case. Well, as it just so happens, I'm fresh out of arms, so yours will be put to good use. Thank you, Liam. He swam down, and using Lana's tail as a handle, he began to insert Liam's arm where his had once been. Unlike the time it took for the leg and tail, Liam's arm slid right in and assimilated itself immediately, almost as if it had a mind of its own. Thanks for fetching me, Neo. Oh, thank you, Liam. Without you, I'm not sure what we would have done. Thank you for showing us how strong we can be. All right. Looks like I've almost got a complete set of Axolotl action figures strapped to my body. Just missing one more. Now we gotta figure out where Ankh is. He was about to swim off once again when he noticed something was wrong. Everything in this tank aside from him was supposed to be dead. And yet, out of the corner of his eye, he spotted a bit of movement.
You thought it was so easy to get rid of us? Even this small part of us? We thought our mission was over. But there is still one more left. Abi has some nerve. If he thinks he can put a dent into us.
Neo, run! I'm on it.
So they weren't gone after all. Dang it! I thought...
Hey, don't worry about it, man. We're all a part of the Egghead right now. So, I know you guys can feel it too. He's got a plan. I do. It looks like we decided to bury his arm in the right place after all. But we have to outswim them one more time.
That's right, they also buried that other arm, that, Ankh.
That is such a good reincorporate. I did not realize there was gonna be foreshadowing for that. That's fucking good!
During their years of productivity, they'd buried Liam's arm in his old corner and Ankh's old arm in his. As they swam, a few minions caught up from behind.
Ah, nice. Now I get a chance to see how this tail feels against them.
He used its weight to swat a few away. But none of them turned to dust as before. The axolotls were now only a mild inconvenience to a being who had grown much stronger than them.
Here we are.
I think he's buried right under here. Right there. You got it.
Just like the previous body part, Ank's arm slid onto Neo and attached itself ready. Okay, what kind of monstrosity am I going to be bearing witness to here?
Finally. You guys sure take your sweet-ass time, don't you?
As much as I want to appreciate this wonderful reunion under the same skin, they're almost here. Yeah, this plan's got something to do with this corner, right?
Hank, do you remember that crack on the wall over there?
Oh, we're gonna bust it? Well, of course, I bashed my head against it multiple times.
You banged your head into it so much that it cracked, didn't it?
Yeah? And your point?
Over the years, we tried covering it up with plants. But of course, there were no tools we could use to repair it. Over time, I think that somehow the crack has even gotten a bit worse.
Ah, I see what you're getting at, buddy boy.
That's right, Hank. We're finishing what you started so long ago. We're breaking open the tank.
Well now, this is something I can get behind! There's an art to this, you know. First, you have to get into position a good length away. Yeah, that'll work. Now it's time to bash. Legs extended, head first.
I think I'm gonna use the tail. Sorry.
Oh, goddamn you, party pooper. Bang.
Did that do anything? Yeah, the crack is widening.
The overwhelming presence had finally caught up to them.
Let this be your final resting place.
Again. Into position. And... bang.
All right. I think we made contact with the outside.
Enough. You may be faster, but the time has come. It's over.
You're right. It is about to be over. Look around. We're in transitional.
The fact that it worked.
Sayonara, suckers.
I see now. So this is your last-ditch effort. I commend you, but I regret to inform you that it makes no difference. No difference to our higher conscience. No effect on the causality of our plan. Perhaps it might even be preferable this way. We will not have to wait eons for your reality to implode upon itself. We can return to our parents sooner. But you, the one under Arby's control, do not share the same relationship yet. You will float in here forever until your essence gives up and you become a part of Transitional. And then one day you'll become one of us. But by that point there won't be any part of your personality left. If by some miraculous occurrence you happen to survive, keep in mind that we are toenail clippings. That's right. We are the equivalent of Ryukosho toenail. Arby is kidding himself. The war will end soon.
Jesus. Then the presence was gone like a flash of lightning. Jesus. Almost at once, Neo felt a familiar warmth wrapping around him like a cocoon. It was the remnants of the tank latching onto their essence.
Hey, look what we got here. It's like our own personal spaceship.
Next stop, Enginos.
Home.
We'll have to find RB again first though, right?
That's right. And Transitional is supposed to be an incredibly large space.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll run into Bracket Boy eventually.
Till then, I think there's a lot of work we have to do.
What do you mean?
Well, Neo, Axie, and I spent a lot of time together. And you two also spent a lot of time together. But the 5 of us together have only spent a relatively short time with each other. Now we have that chance. And maybe, if we imagine hard enough, perhaps we can even go back to the tank. For a time.
Oh, that was the end? Aw, man!
Wait, I saw what you did there, the Cobalt Blues. I know exactly that reference. I saw what you did there, Acta. You can't hide that from me. Okay, so let's see. Yep, I recognize the Cobalt Blues. I recognize that name. Okay, I gotta say, this... Okay, first off, I'm gonna give you a bit of a thank you, Acta, for sending me a game, letting me try this game out. I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. Granted, there are still some questions, but judging from the way that ending was kind of played out, I can already tell that there's going to be like this big series of sorts. In which case, yeah, Lord knows I'm gonna be totally wanting to be a part of it. I really want to read more of what you've got planned. That one Axolotl gift. Hey, yeah.
I gotta admit, I wasn't expecting a lot of the stuff that this game showed me whenever I started it. Is there gonna be an epilogue or... Ooh, hello. Ooh. What have we got going on here? Oh, there's more. A ceiling.
Oh, honey, you're awake. How are you feeling?
Soft back of a warm hand touched me on my forehead.
Feels normal to me.
It's great, Al.
Oh, wait, we're back in Alan's perspective here?
Your father and I were worried sick. Now, come on and get ready. What's wrong? There's no need to be nervous, babe. You're not going to be absent on the first day of school, are you?
There is no feeling in the world like waking up and realizing that every possibility of the day is at your fingertips. Press space to continue. Okay. New element unlocked. Woo. Access the afterword from the main menu. Ooh. Let's check afterward. Let's check it out.
Hey!
Hiya, folks. Hiya. From the bottom of all our hearts, thank you so much for playing RB Axolotl. Oh, that's right. We hope you had an Axolotl fun.
Oh, for God's sake, really?
Axie, we told you not to use that pun. It was one of the ground rules that we agreed to before doing the very first scene of the game, remember?
That's right. It's low-hanging fruit.
Can't you guys cut him some slack? It's the afterword after all.
Oh, that's right. It's not like this conversation is canon. It's not? Wait, really? How does that work for us exactly? If this is not canon, does that mean that the words I'm saying right now aren't real? That's kind of an odd feeling to experience. Good question. Again? Now that you mention it, it is kind of weird. Does that mean I can go down and say stuff that's completely out of character? Let me try. What is this, some sort of epilogue? Are we just here to ruminate on our existence like a bunch of fools? I think this calls for more experimentation. Or maybe I just need to examine my notebook thrice more like the egghead I am. Hey! That wasn't out of character, it was just a bad impression. But it looked fun. Let me give it a go. Howdy, kiddos! It's the show that everyone's been waiting for, featuring none other than the coolest host in the tank. I am not doing any of that. Smaxy the Smaxolotl! When I can't think of anything to say, I just go on rant about somersaults and peanut butter. Heh. Then my character traits. Yuck. Holy shoot, egghead, that was super good. Yolana, you should give it a go. Okay. Nobody's going to get hurt feelings over this, right?
Are you gonna impress? Oh god, are you gonna do the egg? They all nodded, knowing that it was just a fun bit.
Yeah. You're all so stupid I could, spit on your graves. You wouldn't really spit on somebody's grave, would you?
Oh god, I'm smiling just because I probably would at this point.
Well, anyway, just because it's afterward doesn't mean that everything you guys say is not canon.
Very true, Lana. For all the audience knows, some seemingly unimportant details in this afterward could have huge implications for something down the line.
Did you really just have to say that?
Kind of.
Liam, I'm shocked. Even I'm not evil enough to bait our audience into thinking something like that.
No worrying about the future. You have to word us for partying, my dudes. I guess. So I say we put on some rockin' tunes. Crank up the peanut butter, and have ourselves a good old Charlie Brown hoedown. Okay, wait just a second, Axie. You're gonna get us copyright claimed. We can party when the people have left. Before anything, I'd like to propose that we play one last game for the audience. One last game, huh? Well, if there's anything the three of us have experience in, it's gaming. Oh, it's true. We've had a lot of game time throughout the years.
Losers. While you guys are playing games, we were actually in a game.
I guess that's true, Hank, but it wasn't all sunshine and butterflies either. We spent many nights, especially at the beginning, just trying to find a place to take shelter from the rain. I'd wager that those three are better at games than we are.
That's why, for this game, I'm gonna split you guys into teams. You're gonna split us? But what about you? No need to worry about that. I've been working all day on setting up the game for our guests to see. And I know the secrets behind it too, so it'll be completely unfair for me to join. I see. That's fine then. So, how are we deciding on teams? I thought it would be interesting if characters that didn't get a whole lot of screen time together were grouped up. So, I think you and Ank would be a good pair.
Really?
Me and Ank? Great.
You should feel honored. The members of my fan club would pay thousands of dollars just to have a brunch with me.
No, I'm sure. I still haven't forgotten how you treated me way back in Act 1, you know.
I never got to apologize. I'm
just yanking your chain, man. It's water under the bridge. So that leaves me and Liam, huh?
Yeah, we never got to chat too much after we started to bond in Act 2.
Well, maybe this could be the payoff to that.
So, what are we doing, Neo?
It's a scavenger hunt. A special scavenger hunt sponsored by our beautiful benefactors.
Uh-huh. What does that mean exactly?
Oh no, I'm not talking about RB. I'm talking about 3 people who helped make this game possible. I'm not flapping your gums, egghead. It's game time. Nice.
I can't wait to wipe that dumbass grin off your dumbass face, Axie.
That's one thing we'll have to talk about when we're together. Could you drop that whole edgy swearing thing you do all the time? I bet a couple people never even got past the first scene thanks to that mouth of yours.
Considering you left quite an impression. Yeah, just a little bit.
Anywho, the rules of the game are simple. I hit 3 artifacts all around the tank, and the first team to find 2 or more are the winners.
A good old-fashioned scavenger hunt. Let's get a move on.
Where would you like to go first, Hank?
I know how this nerd thinks. I could almost guarantee it's something in your corner because of how sentimental that place is to him.
If they're heading to Lana's corner, then we're heading to my own. I know my corner like I know the back of my hand. Holy crap, there's something on the back of my hand. I didn't see that before.
I'll trust you, Axie.
Good lord. Oh. As the four of them left, Neo breathed in and out and began to show his true emotions.
3. There was supposed to be 3 artifacts from the void. What happened to the last one? I need to find it. Somehow.
Oh my lord.
You know, I think I like the idea of a scavenger hunt better than the actual scavenger hunt itself.
Oh, come on. It's not so bad. Maybe Neil left us some clues.
Yeah, a clue would be nice. There are too many damn places around here to hide stuff.
If anything, I'd say there's not enough depicted. Budgetary concerns are a real thing, you know.
If it was me who was doing the building, I wouldn't have wasted my time constructing boring swings and beds.
That's right. You weren't there for our plant paradise. I'm sure some of the viewers are interested. What sort of structures would you have built in our tank, Hank?
Now you're talking my language. My creations here would have made all of yours look like chicken pot pie.
I'll have to ponder what that means later.
Anyway, I'd build a gym, first and foremost.
I was getting ready to guess that.
A gym, huh? Now that you mention it, we never did build a gym, did we?
That's right. Just because we weren't athletic in our past lives doesn't mean we need to stay out of shape forever.
As long as we pace ourselves. Post-exertional malaise is a real thing, you know.
Yeah.
So what else?
Monster trucks!
Figures.
Now hear me out before judging, little missy. I want you to, just for a second, imagine 2 plant-made monster trucks bashing their heads into each other.
And?
The confetti! Think of all the confetti! And there'd be a winner, too. The monster truck with the least amount of damage could be fixed to fight again another day.
You know, I was skeptical, but having a monster truck competition might actually be kind of fun. When you put it that way.
Right? After everything, I'm kind of curious. What would you guys have done if you hadn't discovered that the plants could be structured into practically anything?
That's a good question. I'm not sure RB expected us to use the plants in the ways that we did.
Then, what did Bracket Boy expect?
I think he expected us to use the void for a similar purpose. You remember, right? That before the void stopped working, we could manipulate it into giving us items. I think RB said it was to accelerate our emotional growth.
Ah, I see. Those damn Ryukosho brats stopped it from working, so you resorted to other means.
Yeah, I still feel bad about the babies. But RB said it in the main story. This tank is an important part of us too. I'm sure it was the reason that the plants are as versatile as they are.
Life, finds a way. Regardless, it sounds like the plants were just as good, or maybe even better, than what the void was supposed to accomplish. Yeah, you want to know something?
What?
At the end of Act 2, after Liam and I left the tank and before we went to the Kingdom of Glass, Bracket Boy tried creating another reality with just me and Liam in it.
Really? And what was that like? Really? And what was that like?
I was never mind. Anyway, he basically gave me free reign over the world. I was even able to create my own NPCs. Though I never got to use them, sadly. I mean, it kinda sucks since it was over in like 15 minutes. But I think Bracket Boy wanted us to bond in that world. Whatever we ended up doing together, anyway.
Hey, over here I think I found something.
Milk!
Is this one of the artifacts?
Must be. But what is it?
Let's see. On the front it says, "To the wholesome boy." And on the back it says, Shinikami's Big Milkies.
Wait, what, really? Let me see that. It really does say that! Oh man, that's good. Okay.
I wonder, what are Milkies exactly?
I think if you have to ask, then it might be better left up to the imagination.
Oh, okay. Well, this thing is pretty neat. I'm so used to the plant aesthetic that I almost forgot that non-plant made items can really exist.
Great. Well, this is lovely and all, but can we move on to the next artifact? Neo said that there were 3. That means just one more and we'll have beaten those losers.
Now hold on just a second, Hank. The person behind this helped make the game possible with their incredible generosity. Before we proceed, I'd like to find a nice place to display these. Milkies.
Jesus. I wasn't ready for that. What the hell?
Oh my gosh. Hey, look at this little pink guy! Oh, this must be one of the artifacts.
Great, that took almost no time at all.
What the hell happened to your voice?
I'm sorry I slipped into Lona for a minute there.
Okay. What's with that casual response? Do you even see this thing? He's so gosh darn cute! Alright, you and me, little man. From this point onwards, until I dismiss you, or until the end of time, you and I are soul brothers. We are brothers fighting for each other until the bitter, bitter end.
It almost feels like you value that thing's friendship over mine.
Well, that's because I do, silly. You're not half as cute as this thing.
Oh.
It's just a joke, my man. I'm sure you have plenty of fans out there just like me.
I do, really?
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Me? What did I do to deserve a fan base?
Oh, you were yourself. That's good enough as far as I'm concerned. Although, according to the recent fan art contest, people like drawing me the best.
That is as expected, I suppose. You are the first Axolotl people see in this game, and all that aside, the most boisterous of the group.
And first impressions, of course, have a lasting effect.
I don't need fan art to validate myself as a person. That said, I am very honored to have by those who have put aside the time to do so.
Well, I do need fan art to validate myself, so keep them coming. Heck, draw me with this super cool fella if you feel so inclined.
Hey, do you see this, Axie? On the back of this thing, there's a name and description. At Tyrion's extremely cute mascot, thank you for believing in me since the very start.
Aww. A touching message make this thing even cuter. I didn't know something like that was even physically possible. Nice.
Oh, these must be like the actual icons of the people that really helped out in the development of this. That's nice. That's really nice.
Well, I don't know what this thing is exactly, but it sure sounds like it means something to someone.
Well, no duh, Liam. It means a lot to me now.
No, I mean someone else.
Oh, forget that someone else. This thing is mine now. And together we shall take over the world. Oh, you know, throughout our entire lives in the tank, we never got to have a real conversation with anyone but ourselves.
I don't like that evil laugh you did.
Not that I don't love my family, but it would have been nice to meet, or at least talk with some new people every now and again. You guys in the Kingdom of Glass. You guys must have met a bunch of people, huh? I remember seeing some real colorful faces in the demo that we played.
I still find it totally bizarre that you guys played a demo of our lives in the Kingdom.
Yep, it was done by the infamous Watch-O-Matic company.
That weird meme company made a demo of our lives, huh? Weird.
Everything's gotta come out from somewhere, right?
True, I suppose. Me and Dank might have left the tank, but a part of us was always here.
Do you think we'll see some more adventures in the Kingdom someday?
No, I'm not sure. A lot of our adventures were standalone, so I'm not sure people are interested. The only point of relevance to this tale is that we may have recruited someone for RB while we were there. And I learned to play a ton of songs.
Oh, that's right! You totally had a musical motif going on with your outfit.
I was placed into that role. I may have been primarily a healer, but my secondary class was of a bard.
Healer Bard. Just kind of like print it. Yeah. 5 minutes.
There aren't a lot of hobbies to take up in a medieval type reality, you know.
You want to talk hobbies? We had a ton of hobbies in the tank.
Oh yeah?
Yep, I taught those 2 out of somersault almost as well as I could.
You did, huh?
Yep. And since we're just about wrapping this game up, I say we give the viewers one more somersault for the road.
Great! Show me how it's done, Axie.
Do it. Let me do it. Let me do it. Let me do it. No, Liam. I want you to show me how it's done.
You want me to somersault? On my own?
Well, only if you're feeling up to it.
You know what? I am. Or at least, I'm feeling up to trying.
Ah, don't sweat it, my dude. Somersaulting is in your blood.
Alright, I think I'm ready.
Well, do it. We'll do it together on the count of 3.
Press S to somersault for the last time.
What? What the heck was that, Liam?
I kind of got lost halfway in. But it was really fun, Axie. I want to try and do more later.
We're gonna have some good times together, my man. Like, where the hell did you go?
Oh my god.
Now, about the next artifact.
The third one that's seemingly missing?
I promised them a fair game and lied. Dang it. The first 2 artifacts came from the void, so the third one has to be in here too. It's probably stuck. But do I really want to risk it all by attempting to go inside? No, I shouldn't be nervous. We dealt with the void in the same main story, and we know for an absolute fact that it definitely is a revolving door. I shouldn't be worried, but for some reason I am. Old habits die hard, I guess. Alright, here we go. Just to grab the last artifact. Wow. This must be how Axie felt that one time I made him go into the void. That was selfish of me. But right now, I'm not going to be scared. I'll fade into the void just like the last time. I've got to have faith.
Oh dear.
Good. I don't know why I felt a tinge of nervousness just then. That was easy.
It was. I'm incredibly pleased with your progress.
I'll be. I suppose you might have something to do with the missing artifact.
I might. I thought it would be nice if the two of us could have one last conversation, so I had to lure you out here somehow.
Well, what are you waiting for? Hand it over!
Here it is.
Hello!
Ah, what an interesting looking character.
Yes. As you well know, there are more realities out there than just the tank.
Not to go all Axie on this thing, but my gut reaction is to feel a sort of empathy for this guy. Not just because we're both blue, but it's hard to explain.
No, Neo, that is apt. You see, this guy used to be a human as well. And now, he and his brother are looking for a cure to their curse. Sound familiar?
It does.
But I cannot speak anymore because this tale is not my jurisdiction, and I personally have no influence over it.
Ah, on the back of this thing, there's a description too, just like the other two. The Cobalt Blue's original character. Thank you for your support and your help on this game.
Yes. The creator behind this artifact helped design a couple of things that you have seen in your own life, Neo. Most notably that of RB Ank.
Ah, so that big ink design was him?
Well, hey, Cobalt Blue, you did a fucking good job on that.
Indeed. All of the beautiful benefactors deserve your support for helping make this game a possibility. They are trying to make it out on their own, in this vast cosmos, just as all of us are.
Great. Well, I'll be sure to pass that on the others as soon as I get back to the tank.
Neo, why did you lie to them about not having all the artifacts?
That is a good question. I guess we all lie to ourselves every now and again. Get things moving in the right direction. Fake it till you make it, I guess. Hey, Abby, that reminds me. What was with the ending to this game?
What do you mean?
Don't play coy! The ending! What happens next?
Well, that's a tricky question. A question that I must answer carefully, because the last thing I want to do is give out false hope. There may indeed be more to this tale, much more, but I don't want this to sound cruel. I cannot promise you that you will see it right now.
Why not? What's the deciding factor?
Essence. It takes lots of energy, a lot of essence, to make experiences like these possible.
True. It takes a lot of time to develop something and put your heart and soul into it.
And an essence must focus on the essentials if such a thing does not provide it, if you catch my drift.
I see.
All the stuff with me, Territory Lords, the War, and Enchinos. It is important, of course, but I still hope that this experience, RB Axolotl, was a complete story in and of itself. I hope we have succeeded, but I cannot be sure. And the last thing I want to do is make false promises. So that is all I can say about the future at the moment.
You still did a very... Acta, you and your team did a really good job with this. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I see. But can you answer just one more question for me? In the future, we won't be axolotls anymore, right?
Yes. In all possible futures, you are reborn as Alan, reliving the absent days of your youth in Enchinos. But there are more stories out there than just yours as well. Perhaps it would be fun to delve into Dr. Guts or even Mark on the Watchamatta Company in the future. Should there be more tales.
It sounds like there are a lot of possibilities.
Indeed. And because the future is uncertain, we must focus on the present. I truly hope everyone enjoyed their time in RB Axolotl.
I did! Me too. I should get going now. Enjoy my time in the tank with my family, while I still have it to the fullest.
Yes, and I should get going as well. If only so, I leave enough room for another to talk.
And with that, our game is finally reaching its conclusion. Sorry for barging in right at the last second. My name is Acta. Hi. If you'll give me just one moment of your time, there are some final matters I'd like to discuss, and the first one is thanking you. Seriously, reading these words on your screen right now deserves a thanks. It means a lot to me that you made it through the whole game. I hope from the bottom of my heart that you had a good time. I most certainly did, and while I still have a few unanswered questions concerning the whole tale and all that, if you intend to actually continue this and expand on this little universe that you've built up, you know damn well I'm going to be one of the first people that'll be wanting to play that. And that it was. As RB said, satisfying in and of itself. Hopefully. Development on this game was, well, rocky at points to say the least. Fair. It wouldn't exactly be a huge stretch to say that certain parts of Alan's backstory mirrored my own. But hey, that's the thing. You add little bits of yourself into the story. Usually those stories that have that little bit of humanity to it, they tend to be a lot better. But in the end, I'm really happy with how most of it turned out. One of the major themes of RB Axolotl is living up to your full potential. I don't know if I accomplished that in this VN, but I sure tried my hardest. I think you did a decent job. And at least at the time of writing this, I'm in much better health than I was during the first half of development. I hope that you, the player, are able to reach your own potential as well. Only you know what that is. Another thing that I hope is that somehow the game puts a little good into the world. Once again, I don't know what the future holds. I'm writing this a month before release, so I have no idea if the game will be a success or not. I don't know if I'll be fortunate enough to make another game, but one can hope. There are a couple of people who contributed assets that I couldn't have done this without. I won't repeat the credits ad verbatim, but without the initial sprites, and art direction by Clarissa Bond, or musical identity by Dave Akosi, I don't think this game would have evolved into what it was. They both did great. There are also a ton of people who supported me throughout development, whether that was merely by being my friend or by actual verbal support, thank you. And although at the time of writing this game only has a handful of fans, those fans have been incredibly warm and supportive. Thank you too.
without some of the incredible messages I got during the demo and the Kickstarter, I don't know if I would have had the motivation to see this through as soon as I did. There was a Kickstarter and I missed it? Shit! Damn it! I swear, this always happens whenever I find something that has, like, there was a Kickstarter and I didn't know about this. I want to support shit like this! Alright, I'm not saying that this game is shit, you know. God damn it. I worded myself badly there. I wanted to support stuff like this. God. There is an official Discord for the game, too, if you would like to join it. I'm sorry, you can't copy-paste off your screen, but the URL is... I have a special button called Print Screen. Feel free to follow me on Twitter as well if you'd like. I actually do follow you, I think. I'll certainly have more to say about the process of the game if that happens to interest you. There isn't too much to say that hasn't already been said. RB started off as a much smaller story, but I never expected it to grow as much as it did. There are a lot of little behind-the-scenes development-related things I would like to share with you guys one day, if anyone is still interested, and if I can organize it into something digestible. But they're just extras, little novelties, nothing essential. Now the hour is getting late, and there are still tens of thousands and 10 things on my end that I need to do before development is finished in earnest. I hope we can meet again someday. Acta. Great job, dude. You legitimately did a good job in my mind. Oh, I guess that's it. Well, that was RB Axolotl. I think I've made my peace that I actually did enjoy this. The artwork, granted, it was very cute. It was very cute. It was very unexpected whenever I saw that first appearance of Axie. Like, that definitely caught me off guard, but I did like that. Even if that first scene was jarring at first, it certainly set the tone like, okay, sure, everything looks cute, but you better be prepared for sudden moments like that. And I think they did a pretty good job at that, personally. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this. Granted, I may have tore out my throat a few times, considering I actually had to take a break during the middle of this recording. I think that's fine. It's kind of hard to pick, like, some of the stuff that I did like the most about it. I did like Axie, Lana, Neo, Liam, and Ankh. What really got me so curious, the more and more curious about it, not only the whole deal with the Void, but also just the relationship between Liam and Ankh. The idea that all of these characters were part of one person, that surprised me, because I had an entirely different thought here that, like, in their past lives, Liam must have done something to Ankh, but to see that these were all aspects of a personality within one person kind of makes sense in a way. Because usually you can be your own worst enemy in some regards. So granted, it was kind of hard to sit through. It was, that reveal of Alan was very, very hard for me to sit through. Because a lot of the struggles that he was going through reminded me a little bit of some of the stuff that I had to deal with. So, that little aspect of humanity being thrown in there, the realism to it, it really tugged at me, really tugged at my heartstrings on that. That ending bit, just the entire ending segment of them all being blessed by RB's power, their alternate looks, and that little glimpse of the Frankenstein-esque Neo. That was very dark. But Acta, if you're watching this, I'm legitimately hoping that that this is successful. That people actually, support you on this. Lord knows I'm gonna support you. I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing what else you have in store for this whole story and all that. If you do manage to actually continue on that, I would actually like to see that. And with that, also I will say thank you for letting me experience this. I do appreciate that. I'm still interested about this whole war that's going on as well. Music was quite nice too. It's kind of hard for me to pick out which Axolotl was my favorite. Like they all have like their own exaggerated personalities that make them all very lovable. So I want to say I like them all equally. In my personal opinion. Even though I hated Ank at first, I really liked his turnaround. There's always been this thing about where I see like characters that are, you know, they have like terrible first impressions, but then they have a nice turnaround. I like it whenever that happens. I do like that.
Even if I did tear myself a new throat hole whenever I was constantly voicing him. To be fair, I had a good amount of fun with that.
But this was great. I enjoyed this, and if you all like this, be sure to let me know. Be sure to go help out Acta, support him, you know? I think I saw him on Twitter. I think he actually posted something during Halloween, like a short product like that. I need to check that out. I didn't look at it because I was too busy trying to, like, get my own things sorted out, and I wanted to finish this before I checked out the rest of his stuff, so... Acta, this was good. I enjoyed it. So, yes, that's pretty much where I'm going to end it. If you all like this, be sure to let me know, and thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see all of you guys in the next video. Thank you all so much for joining.